Once I beat Darren Till, knock him out. Once I do that, I know I'm going to knock him out in the third round. Don't be surprised if you see me fight Jake Paul next. Now, me and Jake Paul, we're boys. Don't get me wrong, but Jake fancies a good scrap, and I fancy a good scrap, and it makes sense. I'm young, I'm active, and I'm winning. And I fought some of the big names on Misfits, and I won. Me and Jake had a storyline. One sparring partners, let's make it happen. You get what I'm saying, Mike? That can be something long. Look, if Mike Perry can fight Jake Paul, I'm sure the hell we can sell more pay-per-views than that. I tell you that now.
Well, as you can see, Anthony Taylor is here, ladies and gentlemen. And as you may have seen on social media and throughout the entire internet, his next fight is booked January 18th against Darren Till in the main event of Misfits Boxing 20. Wow, Anthony.
Man, hey, look, I'm good, Mike. I told everybody back in 2016 when I signed with Bellator, I said I'm going to be the most entertaining man in combat history. And I'm one of the most entertaining guy that there is. I've been headlining since 2016, since the James Gallagher, since the Bellator days. Look, no one can stop this movement I'm on. I manifest every single moment I've been here. And no one can discredit anything I've done because I've been consistent of what I've done, what I said, and we are here. I am main event on Misfits on the Zone boxing in Manchester. I'm always the underdog. They need to make a movie about my life because ain't nobody's done what I've done. I broke records. No MMA fighter has crossed over to boxing and did 9 pay-per-views within 1 year. It's just unbelievable, and I'm just blessed to be here, Mike.
I always tell people that when you look back at Anthony Taylor and your entire story, that you have one of the most fascinating stories in combat sports, not just in MMA and crossover boxing, like where you've come from to where you are now. I always tell people to go back and look at the entire journey because I think you'll respect and appreciate him more, especially if you're a hater. But I don't know how you can hate everything that you're doing right now, especially when this kind of came out of nowhere, because Darren was supposed to fight Tommy Fury on this card and they did a press conference and everything. And then Tommy comes out and says, I'm going a different path. And now you have found yourself in here less than a month away from the fight. So how did this happen? How did you end up in this spot?
Well, I look at it like this, and God has been on my side. When one door is closed, when the one door closes, another one opens. I knew for a fact when Tommy pulled out, I was like, all right, cool. I guess I'm gonna have to step in. I'm most likely going to be the one to step in, and then I got the call. I know I'm better than Tommy and Darren Till. I know I deserve my own main event. I deserve that spot. I am the Triple H of Misfits. I am that guy. No one's going to do what I can do in the game. But at the end of the day, I put in the work, Mike. I train hard to make this look easy. When you train hard and you put in effort, you can't be denied greatness, my brother. You're going to have good days, you're going to have bad days, but just make sure you work hard on both days. And when Tommy Fury pulled out and I got the call from Mams Taylor, he was like, but I was like, doesn't matter, send the contract. What is that? It doesn't matter, send the contract. But it's about this one, send me the contract. I didn't care because my first obligation is to the fans out there. Without the fans, there would not be no Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. Without the fans, there won't be no Misfits Boxing. I put the fans first before that paycheck. And don't get me wrong, Mike. It's currency over legacy all freaking day of the week. That's how I run my model. Currency over legacy, baby. But I put fans first because they're the one who's spending their hard-earned money to watch us fight and put our life on the line.
You talked about the importance of obviously currency, but manifestation as well.
Yes.
When they announced Tommy was fighting Darren, was there a part of you that was ready? Because you said as soon as he withdrew, you were already on the phone ready to go. Was there a part of you thinking, I'm going to have to step in anyways because this fight's not happening?
Well, right when they announced Tommy versus Darren, I was like, Tommy's fighting Darren. That's a sham. Watch. I told my buddy Donut Corby from Bloody Elbow when the fight got announced. I called up Donut. I'll say, "Hey, Donut, watch this. I guarantee you, I'm going to be the one fighting Darren Till in Manchester." And look, it happened. It happened. God blesses people, or some people say Yahweh. God blesses people who deserves it, who works hard, who earn that shit. You don't earn shit because you're given to or lazy. You earn it because you worked for it, Mike. I worked for that main event spot. I am the face of Misfits. I am the light heavyweight champion. I am the cross. I am the messiah for all MMA fighters who want to cross over and do the boxing world. I have the blueprint. I am giving everybody the blueprint. I am the one of the most famous MMA turned boxers in the world. I'm more famous than anybody on PFL. I'm probably more famous than anybody in UFC. And besides Sean O'Malley and Conor McGregor and John Jones, if you name it, Anthony's bigger than them. And I never had a fight in the UFC. I fought Bellator because I paid my own role. I did it my way.
You sure have. What did you think of the reason why Tommy said he was withdrawing? Because of the press conference, Darren said he was going to try to kick him and try to take him down and kind of turn this into an MMA fight. And he essentially said, like, I don't want to play those games. I got something bigger than that. What did you think of that? Did you believe him? Do you believe that that's the reason why this fight's not happening?
I think it has to do with more money, probably. That's my guess, money. When you're talking about Tommy and Tyson, totally two completely different people. Tyson, let's fight. Let's bare knuckle, whatever. I'm a fighting gypsy. That's charming. That's expensive toilet paper right there. But when you talk about Tommy, oh, he's gonna kick me. That's cheap toilet. That's cheap toilet tissue. Cheap that you buy at the 99-cent store. You use it one time, it scrapes the skin off your asshole. That's charming. He's cheap toilet paper. And when you look at those guys compared to Tommy and Tyson, I guarantee it's good to bet your money on Tyson because Tyson is going to show up and fight. And if you throw a kick, he's going to kick you back. If you throw a punch, bare knuckle, or elbow, Tyson's going to do the same back. We have to understand that Tommy is not a real fighter. He doesn't dedicate, I want to say he's not a real fighter because he is. He doesn't dedicate his life to boxing, to fighting. He's a dad first, foremost. He's a son. He's all about entertaining. Did he kick my ass at first fight? Absolutely. I acknowledge it. That was my first boxing match ever. Or we say my second one. I didn't know what I was doing in there, but fair play to Tommy. But at the end of the day, Tommy's not dedicated to the way I am. I live. This is my paycheck. Like I said, currency over legacy, Mike. Tommy is not dedicated to the sports and the craft of the sweet science of boxing. But Tyson is, and that's why you see Tyson demand on this type of money, and everybody's like, "What are you doing, Tommy?" So
Do you think this is maybe like a negotiation tactic, and Mam's just
I believe so. I believe so. If he didn't carry the last name Fury, who the hell is he? You want to know something crazy though, Mike? And I'm gonna manifest this well. Because I know you got a lot of people who watch your show. Once I beat Darren Till, knock him out. Once I do that, I know I'm going to knock him out in the third round. Don't be surprised if you see me fight Jake Paul next. Now, me and Jake Paul, we're boys, don't get me wrong. But Jake fancies a good scrap, and I fancy a good scrap. And it makes sense. I'm young, I'm active, and I'm winning. And I fought some of the big names on Misfits, and I won. Me and Jake had a storyline. One sparring partners, let's make it happen. You get what I'm saying, Mike? That can be something long. Look, if Mike Perry can fight Jake Paul, I'm sure the hell we can sell more pay-per-views than that. I tell you that now.
Well, before that happens, we got to do the Darren Till fight. So I'm trying to figure this. I've seen all different things, but this is 8 rounds, 195 for the weight.
195 cruiserweight is the match. Look, you think I'm coming in at 195? Absolutely not. I talked to the promoter, man. I said, man, what's the lowest I can get? He's like, the lowest you can get is 183. Perfect. Bam. I'm getting to 183 pounds. I I need to be floating like a butterfly when I'm in there, floating around. I'm not going to be looking like a sluggish fighter, looking like Mike Perry fighting like Jake Paul. I'm coming in at 183 in shape, on weight. If Darren want to come in at 195, cool. Out of shit, fine. But if you go over 195, you go over an ounce or six or a pound, I need half his check straight up because we're professionals here, Mike. This
You
is
like
what
the eight
we do.
rounds?
I love the 8 rounds. I get to drown them. I get to torture them for 8 sick rounds. I want to make this a sick fight. Like I want to be able to him. I want him to be so uncomfortable in there with me. It's like, yo, I want him to quit on the stool. I think he'll quit on the stool probably in the second round.
Darren's obviously with the UFC for quite a bit. He fought for the belt at 170 against Tyron Woodley. It did not go well. Not a terrific ending for him with his UFC career. He eventually moved to 185, stopped by Dricus du Plessis, the current middleweight champion, in his last fight, and then he and the UFC kind of parted ways, and here we are. You were an MMA fight? You fought for Bellator. You could go
Yes.
back and do that. Is Darren a
Yes.
guy you watched fight in the UFC, and when did he first sort of pop under your radar?
Respectfully, not at all. The first time I've heard about Darren is when he was on that mic. Oi, Scousers, the Maltesers. You know how he's just talking on the mic. And when he fought Tyron Woodley, that was the only time I've heard of Darren Till. But Darren Till's a game opponent. But yeah, I have to be mindful. He's an MMA fighter first, so he's down to scrap. He's down for a good fight. He's not gonna wimp out and make an excuse. He's ready to fight, knowing that he comes from the MMA background. Because you have to be mentally tough to go in that cage. So I'm not taking that from Darren. Darren is a big taller opponent than me, but I just know my ability, what I can do. I'm not worried about what Darren is going to do in that ring. I'm worried about what I'm going to do in that ring. I don't care what he's good at, what can he execute. I'm worrying about, and my coaches is worried about, what is Anthony going to do? How is he going to execute his moves? How are we going to follow the game plan to the T? Stick to it. That's what I'm worrying about. I don't care about what Darren got going on, but I respect Darren since he is a fellow MMA fighter as myself because I know he's game and he's ready to fight.
As you said a few times, you wrote the blueprint on how to cross over from the MMA world into the boxing world. And Darren just tried to do that earlier this year. He jumped on the social knockout card and he gets the win. And it was super strange. We had a melee and a brawl, if you will. It just all kind of erupted and just got real strange and wild. Did you see this?
Horrible performance, by the way. A horrible performance. But then again, that was his first boxing match. You're only as good as your last fight. I'm not worrying about Darren Till, but congratulations to getting to Misfits. And I tell every other MMA fighter who comes to Misfits, congratulations, kid. Here's your certificate of thank you for participating certificate. When you're in there with me. I mean, look what Gabe Silva did when he came to boxing. I kicked his ass. And he comes from the Muay Thai world from his dad. Look at Samuel Erickson. He came from the karate combat world. I kicked his ass. There's levels to this, Mike. And I don't think Darren Till has what it takes to get to my level yet. I've been putting in 3 years of hard work because not only am I a Misfits champion, I want to win the light heavyweight WBC, WBA, WBO, IBF championship in boxing as well on that other round. That's my goal. Even if I have to fight Peter V, even if I have to fight Bebo, I want to win a belt. That's my goal. And if Bernard Hopkins and Foreman can do it at their age, I'm 35. I'm still in my prime. I can do it as well.
What do you think the fight week is going to be like with Darren? Because he is on the mic, and you're no slouch on the mic yourself.
Man, it's going to be hard, Mike, because it's hard to understand them in the first place. I think it's going to be great. To be honest, Darren's a good dude. We follow each other on social media. He's a funny dude. I actually like Darren. He's a down-to-earth type of guy. funny on the mic. I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup as far as trash talking. So I'm excited for this. I'm actually excited for this.
Have you met him before?
Have I met him before? No, I have not.
Okay,
I
so this will
have
be the
not.
first time.
Sorry. Yeah, this would be my sorry. I had a call coming. This would be my first time. Can you see me? Yep.
Yep, we're good.
This would be my first time actually meeting him in person. I'm not worried about how big and tall he is. It doesn't phase me. It doesn't bother me.
So you have big aspirations for 2025. Maybe you can get in there with a Jake Paul or somebody like that. But
No,
first,
no,
we got
no,
to take care of
baby.
business. It's
It's not
happening.
a
This
baby.
is
It's going to happen. Me and
okay.
Jake is going to have to fight at cruiserweight, and he can come in at 200 pounds all he wants. I'm gonna come in at 175, 176. That way, I no 176, 177. That's the limit. I'm coming in. Me and Jake is gonna fight, and me and Tommy gonna fight. Tommy ain't fighting nowhere else on Misfits unless it's me. And the fans will say, "Hey, once I knock out Darren Till, the fans are going to rejoice and they're going to praise the tune of saying Anthony Taylor needs to fight Jake Paul because that is the only realistic MMA fighter who stands a chance of fighting Jake Paul and giving him some competition."
So we're calling knockout on January 18th.
We're calling knockout January 18th. Call it TKO, DQ. Hell, we're calling WWE. You distract the ref. I hit him with the chair. We count him out 10 rounds. Pin count. He's out in the third.
You mentioned Jake, and he was just part of a massive event in November where he boxed Mike Tyson. And
yes.
It was the most, we call it the mom test. It was the most mom test fight of all time. Everybody asked about it. Everyone wanted to know how it was going to go. Right. And then the fight happens and it was what it was. And 100 or so million people watched it.
I mean, but it's Netflix. It's Netflix. You put Canelo on Netflix for free, you're going to get 100 million people else fighting on Netflix. When you get a big name guy like that, of course. When you talk about Jake Paul, KSI, Logan Paul, Canelo, Fury, Usyk, Anthony Joshua, of course, you're going to get those because everybody has a Netflix subscription. When you're talking about DAZN, you're talking about certain shows, people can pirate those things. And, but everybody and their mama got Netflix for free. You got that one person who 6 to 10 other people have that same account. Everybody's going to watch it. But it's great that it happened because now we get to see what Netflix can do on a bigger stage of that atmosphere. But don't get me wrong, the Zone is doing an amazing job as well. The Zone has been the platform. The platform is the man. The Zone is the best platform there is right now. Until Netflix can show consistency in what they're doing with the boxing scene, then the Zone reigns supreme. The Zone is going to always reign supreme until they find a worthy adversary like Netflix. But I think it's great to seeing that my boy Jake end up getting the opportunity of a lifetime, having that many people view his fight. That is an amazing achievement, and I applaud Jake for that because, like, how many times in your lifetime do you get to fight your idol in boxing? One of my idol is Mike Tyson in boxing, and wrestling, my idol is The Rock. How cool would it be if I got to wrestle The Rock? Yeah, who cares? I'm wrestling The Rock. Those are the things that we appreciate because at the end of the day, we leave everything behind. The only thing we're kept is our memories. Like, Rick, at least when me and you are 60 years old, 70 years old, we sitting down, we ain't talking about millions that we had. We're talking about, man, hey, Ed, remember that time you fought Mike Tyson and you got to wrestle The Rock? Those are memories you keep and stay for the rest of your life. Money and the material things goes, but those memories to be like, yeah, man, I got to fight Floyd Mayweather in an exhibition bout, or I got to win a world champion in MMA, or I was once the Misfits light heavyweight champion. That right there, memories. They man, that's just I'm just in awe what Jake was able to do with his life. I'm happy for the dude because he's doing something that he never thought he would or could do. but he worked his ass off to get there.
So hearing you say that, and I know obviously you're friends with Jake, and Jake's been having to
Yeah.
answer questions about the fight since. I was actually 7 feet from him not that long ago asking him about the fight in Orlando when he showed up at the MVP prospects card. But you think, just based on what you say, you think people are kind of taking the fight a little too serious? Maybe the backlash is a little unwarranted because, as you said, like, this is two big names. They're trying to do something on Netflix. The fight was what it was, but Jake Paul got to box Mike Tyson. And for someone like Jake, that's a dream come true for him.
Yeah, I mean, everybody at Netflix is probably was or is a Mike Tyson fan. Let's not just sit here and say it's not worth it. We didn't know what Mike Tyson was going to give us. We didn't know that. It could have been a disaster or it could have been a masterclass. But I'm not saying it's a masterclass, but the fact that he had the opportunity to do numbers like that, and the history has never been done in the history of the United States and just in boxing in general, is just amazing. Mike, it wasn't going to matter. I think he would have done numbers because it's on Netflix with anybody. I think, for me personally, you know what? That numbers that those are good numbers. You're talking about Mike Tyson, the last gym. It's like the forbidden mites. You don't talk about Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan, Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying? No more. Michael Phelps. We don't talk about the Michael Myers. Those are the mites. Those are precious jewels. We don't fuck with Mike. Mike Hack, like those are the people we don't mess with. So, I mean, those numbers would have did better. It still would have topped KSI versus Jake Paul, I believe, because this is Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson's been a house name since the 80s. When you think of Mike Tyson, you don't think of Holyfield or Lennox Lewis. You think of Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali, who would have won in their primes? Who would have won in their primes? That's all you think about, my brother. When you think of Tupac, you think of Biggie Smalls. Certain things happens for a reason. And that happened because they knew how big this was going to be. But we didn't know how big this was going to be. But through all in all, I'm excited that happened. I got to see Mike Tyson fight because I was born in 89. I was a little ass kid. I don't remember watching a Mike Tyson fight in 96, 97 stuff. I'm just playing with my friends. I got to watch Mike Tyson box. That's cool to me. That's something I'm going to live like, man. I got to see Mike Tyson fight, bro. Like, yeah, y'all got to see him in the 80s, but I got to see him in 2020s. So sorry with the dogs in the background, by the way.
Oh, fair. It's all good. It's all good. Last thing we're seeing the MMA fighters come over and do the boxing thing, and you're the guy. You feel like you're the man that could teach the expert course on how to do it.
Yes,
you've seen Nate do a couple of boxing matches. Jorge Masvidal just boxed Nate, and we're seeing other guys come through. If Masvidal called you right now, or somebody of that ilk, and says, Anthony, I want to go into boxing. You've written the blueprint. What's the first thing I should do? What are you telling them?
I tell them like this: it's not what you know, because we all know how to fight and we all know how to box. It's who you know. Who do you know who can get you in that scene, can get you in the doors? You call me up. Hey, Anthony, I wanna get into boxing. Okay, first thing we need to do is how's your social? How's your following? Because you got to have some type of following, especially if you want to get into Misfits Boxing. Before you make a couple of calls. Okay, all right. Your following looks good. Okay, what type of character you want to be? Do you want to be the heel? Do you want to be the baby face? Or do you want to be in the middle? Stone Cold Steve Austin, where you just don't give a damn if you're the heel or the baby face, you just want to kick ass. Those are the three characters. Heel, baby face, middle. Now, once you do that, you got to start putting content out. Who you want to fight? What other big name out there who's game to fight? It's like wrestling, Mike. If you're a boxer and I'm a boxer and we don't like each other on social media, but we actually know each other, I'm gonna call you up, Mike. Like, hey, Mike, look, man, it's an opportunity like wrestling. Yeah, they look like straight bad guys in the wrestling ring, but behind them curtains, hey, man, hey, Jarvis, you have a great day with your family, man. Merry Christmas. You too, man. See you next Monday. That's how it's gonna be like not everybody's like that, but you gotta build a storyline on your potential opponent and a future opponent. Build that storyline. What type of character you want to be, the heel, good guy, or bad guy, and make a couple phone calls. Who do you know? What type of person? Hey, I might call up Ariel Hawani to say, hey, Ariel, I'm thinking about doing this. Let's create a buzz. Hey, Donna Corby from Bloody Elbow. Hey, Mike Hack. Hey, Chris from MMA Uncensored. Get those storylines out there so it's on social media and people saying, hey, Anthony Taylor says he wants to fight Mike Hack, or Mike Hack is too scared. Now the reputation is circling. Now all that's hitting social media. You get what I'm saying, Mike? You got to create that storyline. You can't just say, hey, I want a box. Yeah, everybody want a freaking box. But what are you doing? Who do you know that can get you in that opportunity for you wanting to box in front of all those people? Is a wise man told me this, and this is a great thing he told Mike Tyson. A wise man told Mike Tyson, come on, Mike. I want you coming to WWE. You're going to be a star. You're going to be this. You're going to be that. And Mike was like, yeah, but wrestling is fake. You know what Vince told him, Mike? He said, come on, Mike. Wrestling is fake, but the checks are real. Hey, 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 the storyline doesn't have to be real. We all live, every single MMA fighter we see or know, seen fight, we imitate everything from the WWE era. All this, like, you can ask George St. Pierre, he's probably going to say the Ultimate Warrior is his favorite wrestler. Everything, hey, The Rock, I mean, Mike Tyson, every single boxer we see now in the modern era has a favorite wrestler that we all try to imitate growing up. It's just simple. It's the new era that we're in, Mike. And if you can't get with the new era of the crossover boxing, you're just going to be left. You, good luck staying signed to Don King Promotions. No disrespect. Good luck. Good luck being with Matchroom. Good luck with being with Top Rank. PBC. Golden Boy, because you're not reinventing. You're not reinventing yourself. You're not coming up with new solutions how to make yourself hot. People are upset with Ryan Garcia because he has a following. Hey, you can do the same thing, brother.
Call this man up. Call this man up. He will advise you. You might have a new business on your hands, Anthony, but you have business to attend to in the boxing
Yes.
ring, January 18th against Darren Till, main event, Misfits Boxing 20. Great catching up with you. Great chatting with you as always,
too,
Anthony.
brother.
All the best to you in the build to January 18th.
Yes, sir. Hey, Mike, man, I appreciate you having me on here, man. I know it's been a couple of years since we actually did one. It's been a while, and I'm glad that we were able to reconnect, brother. You reach out, call me if you need anything, brother.